Welcome to Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. We're going to show you how to make rose gold dusted
vegan meringue.
Join us in the kitchen and we'll show you how.
Good.
So this one is totally my kind of recipe. It has 4 ingredients, 1 optional, which I'm adding at the end, and we'll get to it. Okay. So all you need is the liquid from 1 can of chickpeas, which we're going to pour right into the mixing bowl. What a team, what a team. Half teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now we'll mix this for a minute or 2. We're going to put in, you can either use caster sugar or refined sugar. What we've done here is we've taken vegan sugar and we...
organic sugar.
Yeah, exactly. Because
organic sugar.
Because my daddy loves me. And we've processed it so it becomes less granulated. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put 1 tablespoon at a time in this mixture while it's mixing. It's peaking so nicely. This has really started to peak so beautifully, right, Daddy?
Yeah.
So now we're going to take some almond extract, half a teaspoon, and pour it right in.
Okay.
To make it more stable, and so that the peaks will maintain themselves even after baking, we're going to put in half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. That's really thick now. Wow. Peaks of meringue. Papà Chef has put the mixture in the piping bag, and now, Dad, what are you going to do?
And now we're going to pipe it out in a tray, okay?
Okay. On some parchment paper.
All right.
Go ahead.
You want to take a picture?
I will take a picture. How pretty. The special optional ingredient I bought is rose gold dust, which I'm going to sprinkle onto these meringues. So we've dusted them with the rose gold, and now we're going to bake them. Thanks for joining Papà Chef and me for Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. I have the Greek goddesses here with me. We came up with the idea for doing a Greek segment of the show because I had come across Violife's vegan feta, and I was so excited about it. I wanted to know whether the Greek goddesses would be as excited as I am about it. Vasileia is actually vegan, but Stavroula and Eleni are not. So Vasileia has tried some of the stuff I have, but these 2 are new to, especially this, which they will taste on camera, and we'll see what they think. But we wanted to stay away from processed foods when we came up with this idea. So you'll see this beautiful Greek traditional spread that we have before us. And Eleni's mom actually made us this wonderful soup, which she'll tell us about now.
It's called revithia. So this is one of the traditional simple vegan dishes, which we have a lot of vegan dishes in Greece. We take chickpeas, we boil them up, we take some of the chickpeas, process them in a food processor, and add them back to the soup with a little bit of onion, oregano, olive oil, lemon. And that's about it. And it's so delicious and hearty and filling and very nutritious and good for you.
Thank you, Eleni. Let's try this delicious soup. Oh my God. That is so delicious.
It's actually, oh my goddess. In Greece, when we first taste some homemade food, we always say, "Yas ta hierya sas," to whoever made it. And that means, to my mom.
Yes,
bless her hands. Bless your hands, Mrs. Marina. Καλή όρεξη, enjoy.
Thank you. Ευχαριστώ. Eleni brought us this great Greek wine. Eleni, will you tell us about this wine?
It's naturally processed. There's nothing artificial or anything like that in it, and it's from a very popular region called Rapsani, very famous, and actually has ancient roots in winemaking.
Spinillamas.
Oh,
Wow, Eleni.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good.
It's got nice jams and good tannins in it.
Oh, I'm gonna start drinking wine again. Oh, the thing that I was the most anxious to try is the feta. I want to try it with the Paximadia, which they're actually made in Crete, in the island of Crete, where Vasilia is from.
Right.
Yes.
It's basically bread that you bake. You take it out and you put it back in to dehydrate, and that's why it has this crispy, crunchy texture to it. And it's just delicious.
Oh my god. It's very creamy and delicious. Oh my god.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty good. A little bit more creamy than regular feta, but and a little milder, but it's probably the best vegan cheese I've ever had.
And the stuffed grape leaves.
Dolmades.
Dolmades or Dolmadagia.
When I find these, it's such a treat, and it's so good for a busy vegan because it is kind of like a mini meal in one.
And you can take it with you in a lunchbox and throw it in your bag.
Tell people about these.
Well, Dolmades or Dolmadagia, the mini version, is actually something that we prepare as a main course in Greece. Here, they use it as an appetizer. People, combine it with all sorts of things. But in my family, this was like a main course. I don't know about you girls.
We have both. We have it both as this, plain, and then we have the one that's with like a cream lemon sauce served in a pot.
Yeah.
And a bigger version.
Yeah.
With meat or without. But these traditional ones, the smaller ones, are made without meat. With dill, scallion, lemon, wrapped in grape leaves, and definitely lots of olive oil. They're easy to make. You can eat them cold, you can eat them room temperature, you can put them in your bag in a little
Put them in
lunchbox.
solids too. We are going to show you in the next segment of this Greek goddess episode that we made tzatziki, and Sovrula is going to show us how to make it.
It's a very simple recipe, and it's going to be my first time making it with vegan yogurt.
I've been a vegan for 11 years, but when I was a kid, I would go to restaurants with my parents, and I would only order 2 plates of tzatziki, and I would share with nobody.
I love it.
So this is really precious to have as a vegan.
You really could have tzatziki with almost anything, with grilled vegetables, fried vegetables. I put it on fried zucchini chips.
Eleni has brought us some desserts, which she's going to explain to us.
These melamakarona, these traditional cookies here, are made with orange zest, flour, sugar, walnuts, cinnamon, clove, and they're so delicious. We make them around Christmas time, and they're completely vegan except for honey for those vegans who don't eat honey. You can make it with a sugar-based syrup if you like.
It's really good. It's perfect. You can have one of these and you're done. You don't need to have a whole piece of cake. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it. It's vegan and so incredibly satisfying.
As we explained in our last segment, we are going to make tzatziki.
Tzatziki. Say it like a Greek woman. Tzatziki.
Who could say it as sexy as Sovrula?
Hi everyone. Go
So
ahead.
Sovrula, the goddess, is going to show us how to make
Tzatziki.
Yeah.
I did come down this morning from Mount Olympus just to show you this incredible recipe. So when I was growing up in Greece, many years ago, I never ever recall my mother or my grandmother buying tzatziki from the store. We would always make it at home. Wintertime, summertime is just such an incredible thing to make. And of course, Greeks, we love garlic and so much
Like
more.
Italian.
But I've never had vegan tzatziki. So I am a little bit nervous about how this recipe is going to turn out today.
We're going to use Anita's yogurt, which
Okay.
is, to me, it's a treat. As a vegan, it's such a treat to have this. I think it's the closest thing to your Greek yogurt.
We'll find out. I don't know what Anita has done with this recipe. We'll
Anita,
find
you
out.
are on the spot. All right, shall we?
Yes,
Okay.
let's do it. We're going to be using some very basic ingredients that I believe every household pretty much has in their pantry. So it's the yogurt, vegan in this case, by Anita, dill, fresh garlic, white vinegar, and olive oil. We're using cucumber. Depending on the size of the recipe, you can use as much or as little as you like it. Just an FYI that we already grated our cucumber here, and it's...
And so you have to grate it
It's
and then
ready.
squeeze the water out.
Yes,
right?
you must squeeze the water out, otherwise it's really going to mess with the consistency of the yogurt. So let's start by putting, okay, I don't know how much yogurt you want, but let's start by putting 2 spoons
Okay.
and a couple of spoons of yogurt.
Okay.
Okay, and this is Anita's that we're
Anita's
using.
yogurt,
Are they
yes.
based here in New York?
She's based in Brooklyn, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
very
Yeah,
nice,
it's
supporting the
nice.
local. So now we have fresh garlic. I love the smell of it.
Me too.
I don't care what people say about garlic breath and the whole vampire thing, and I just don't care. I love it.
Me too.
Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of dill.
Okay. Which usually you use fresh dill.
Yes, and olive oil. And let's put a little bit of vinegar as well. I'm
So
always
like a
very
teaspoon.
careful. Yeah, I'm always very careful with the vinegar. Let's put a little bit of salt in the mix.
Okay.
And let's start stirring. I know people who like it very thick, very, very thick,
Yeah.
and I know people where this consistency would be perfect. So this is definitely a very good looking tzatziki.
Wow. Does look good. Looks good to me. That looks great to me.
Okay. Oh wow.
Garlic is Italian approved. It's emanating now.
I love it. I love it. It's really good.
It's good.
And this was our first try, so this
Ooh,
is
yes.
it's really good.
Yes, see? Thank you from coming. It's
All right.
because you came from Mount Olympus. That's
Yes, of course, it explains everything.
Kalioliksi,
Tzatziki forever.
tzatziki. Thanks for joining us for this Greek goddess segment of Lucia's vegan lifestyle. Stinayamas.
Stinayamas.
Hello from Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. I'm at Bryce's Beauty, which is a pop-up of natural, organic, vegan beauty products, home products, pet care, and so much more. I'm going to go inside and speak with Aida, the founder and owner, and see what they've got in store for us. What inspired you to open the shop?
It all started when I was pregnant and I was forced to use more natural products because you can't use, standard, mainstream products. They have a lot of toxic chemicals, and those, unfortunately, they tend to accumulate in our body as the time passes by. So I was challenged to find better, cleaner products. I started researching the other products, in my house: laundry detergent, toothpaste, hairspray, and I just decided that there has to be better alternatives. And we thought, hey, I think people just need, like a better kind of like curated selection. We have an amazing Haircare selection, incenses, pet care collection. It's all organic. We have vegan perfume, baby bum cream, baby bottom butter, Blue Green Wagon. They make their products in a solar-powered facility, scented with pure essential oils. It's biodegradable. This is a hydration enhancer. It basically helps like a shine booster, and it brightens your hair. Beautiful hair. And it's just basically what it does, it's just, it smells divine. And it just gives that like a little hair pick-me-up during the day. Or you can just use it, just like it adds extra shine and just that extra boost. I'm setting my shiny hair. And it's suitable for all hair, skin types.
Nice.
So, Province, I love this brand myself. I use it a lot too, and it's one of our best sellers. It's definitely my favorite. It's super affordable. The options that really work and safe, and you just like everything about your product, like your, the texture and just, the smell, everything. They aren't that many. And that's why some people are still doing, kind of like do-it-yourself beauty products at home. that's, which I thought, like, why would you need, but that when you have a lot of, just a million choices. But it's not always the case. We do have a lot more brands, a lot more, products. I hope to see you guys in the nearest future. Bye-bye.
Stop in to Bryce's Beauty on Mulberry Street in the East Village.
I've been vegetarian for about 15 years now, and I'm just always looking for high quality fashion that is vegetarian and vegan friendly. So I wanted to really bring the glam and high quality to vegan and vegetarian fashion. After 39 years of figuring it out what my life's plan is, I really feel that it was my purpose on earth to try to spread awareness and educate people and to hopefully revolutionize the vegan fashion industry. All of my styles are based on kind of glam, old Hollywood glamour, with a nice like vintage twist, kind of retro and also classic. People can wear the styles with casual clothes as well as evening attire, so it's a very versatile line.
You have a shoe called the Lucia. Can you tell us about that?
I do. Well, Lucia means light in Italian. So I feel like everybody should really try to find that inner light and their passion and really just spread it with the world.
Hi, it's Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle coming to you from Flatiron in Manhattan for the annual Animal Rights March. Some of the signs are really great. The energy is really great. Let's take a look around.
We don't have a right to anybody else's bodies but our own. Like, we all believe our body, our choice, but we don't expend that same compassion to animals at all. And I want to encourage other people to think about why.
What do we want? Animal liberation! When do we want it? Now!
A lot of people say that they love animals, but what they really mean is that they love their pets because their pets give something back to them. Being vegan is about being compassionate toward all animals and understanding that they all have a right to be here, just like we do.
Helping people realize that, other animals are the same as their dogs and their cats may help them make the connection and go vegan.
Animals, they want to live. They feel joy, pain, sadness, and they deserve the equality just like us as humans do.
Veganism stands for compassion, but it also extends towards every living being on this planet and to the earth itself. It's just an awakening, a realization that we're all connected. And when that happens, then veganism is just a result of that.
Lisa, tell us about the march.
So basically about 3 years ago in 2017, while Rob was over in London, that Animal Rights March at that time, he called you up on the phone. He was like, oh my God, we need to host one this year as well. And I thought he meant like he was going to do it. I didn't realize it involved me until 3 days later. So we honestly, our first year is pretty incredible. Like we didn't know what we were doing at all. And we honestly put together the entire march on like a shoestring budget, and I think it was just like maybe 3 months time, and that was it. And it made me feel pretty good when I heard a lot of people think like, much bigger groups hosted this or put this on, and actually it was really like Rob's idea, and we made it come to fruition.
What do you guys want the world to know by holding this march?
I mean, the biggest thing about this march, I feel at least, is that this is like a great place for people to network. Everything from like new activists who want to do more, they just don't know how. This is like such a great place for people to meet and to network and to get focused on something that they want to address with animal rights issues. And it's also just, it says a lot to the public. I mean, it's amazing how I've had people like watch from the past videos in prior years and actually get emotional and cry. So I think it actually, people who aren't vegan, when they see this, it makes them more curious, it makes them more conscious and want to do something better for the animals. I'm just just ready for this to happen. We're excited.
Welcome to the official Animal Rights March, New York City 2019! We are marching today to be the physical embodiment of an urgent need for change. Our voices will ring out for all those whose cries for help go unheard.
Caitlin, tell us a bit about the sanctuary.
Hi, I'm the founder of Rancho Relaxo. We're a farm sanctuary in southern New Jersey, and we take in slaughter-bound, neglected, unwanted, orphaned, etc. animals, and we give them a paradise to live in for the rest of their lives.
What do you want people to get out of seeing this march?
If thousands of people marching down the street changes one person's mind, it's worth everything today. I just want people to be inspired by it. I want people to question the way that they live their lives. I want people to understand why we're doing this. It's not because, we hate anyone. It's not because we're trying to fight with people. It's not because of anything. We're actually doing the opposite, and we're bringing peace into our lives, into their lives, into the animals' lives. So we just, want people to pay attention, and today is a great day for that, obviously.
Alejandro, tell me about Anonymous for the Voiceless.
We are a peaceful demonstration. We show public what has been hidden from them with the animal agriculture. We led them into a conclusion to become vegan and encourage them to take that justice step in order to stop contributing to the animal suffering that we are all causing as a human species.
What do you hope people will get out of seeing this march today?
Making a stand, knowing that the animals, they do have a voice, even though it's not being heard. We are their voice. That's why we are Anonymous for the Voiceless, and just make a stand that animal exploitation must end as a society. If we want to move towards a just, fair, and compassionate world, we have to start with looking at the most vulnerable and innocent beings, which are the animals.
Catskill Animal Sanctuary is just about 2 hours north of New York City. We have been around since 2001, and we do emergency rescue of horses and farm animals from cruelty, neglect, and other desperate situations. And in addition to emergency rescue, we have innovative educational programs like a summer kids camp, a culinary program, a brand new vegan mentor program, and special events.
What do you want people to get from this march today?
It's our hope that people can open their hearts and minds to farmed animals. They endure so many unspeakable atrocities in factory farms across the globe, and we want people to understand that in the ways that truly matter, we are all the same. So we don't have hooves and feathers and beaks and wings, but farmed animals like us, they fall in love, they develop lifelong friendships, they love their young, they mourn the death of their friends. We're really all the same.
I'm here with Tamberlane Sanctuary. I'm an animal caregiver there, so I feed them, medicate them, make sure they're all doing all right. Sanctuaries are very important because we rescue animals from slaughterhouses, transport trucks. We give them a name, we take care of them, and they become ambassadors for all the animals suffering in slaughterhouses and all that.
What kind of feeling do people get when they come to visit?
They get to know the animals on a one-on-one person level, and they really connect with them, and they get to hold them, just hang out with them. It's a really enlightening experience.
What do you want people to learn by seeing all of these people out here today?
That the animal rights movement is growing, and you better join us or you're left behind.
Cube of Truth is sort of artistic expression to educate people about how animals are used in all different industries. So in factory farming and agriculture, so for food, for your leather goods, for the egg industry, the dairy industry, and a lot of people don't realize the violence and the cruelty that goes into these sorts of businesses. And so we educate them on that so they can make a better choice and go vegan.
What kind of a response do you guys get when people pass by and see the information that you're giving?
For the most part, it's pretty positive. People are willing to listen, and they don't usually realize things that are going on in the industry. And most of the time, they appreciate the information. You don't always get such positive responses, but for the most part, it's pretty positive.
What was it that made you go vegan?
I decided eating body parts is weird. And so that made me go vegetarian. And then I learned about the cruelty of the dairy industry. And then that made me go vegan.
I was eating a burger one day, and halfway through it, I decided that I couldn't do it anymore.
I think a lot of people are realizing that it's not good for their bodies, it's not good for the animals, and it's not good for the environment. So I've seen a huge switch, and there's more vegan options. It's like easier and easier.
The excuse of it's hard to find something to eat doesn't cut it.
What made you join the ASPCA?
I have dogs of my own. I could never stand the thought of anybody using them. Sick entertainment like dog fighting. You know, it's a huge issue all over America, even right here in New York City. I mean, on estimate, there's about 16,000 dogs that die every single year to dog fighting. I went vegan first when I was about 16. I went off and on for a little bit, but I'm back on. I mean, I'm set for life. Like, I'm never going back. I mean, it's the best way to live, in my opinion. The animals are not for our use, for our consumption. Like, we shouldn't be eating them. We shouldn't be using them for our clothes, our fur. I mean,
Why? Why not?
because they all have a heart. They all have a mind. They're our friends. I mean, they're living creatures just like us. They feel pain. They feel suffering. They want to feel love just like us.
It's a family decision, so we're all vegan. So thanks to his support, it's very easy.
People always think that there's this complex dynamic that you need to kind of adhere to, and I think people also feel that you're depriving your children of certain foods, whether they be sweets or whatever. But the reality of it is that there are so many different options available nowadays, and I think that the challenge for people is that you have to just be aware. We try to live as an aware family. When you're open and you're aware of what's going on, I think things become very, very simple.